Well, hello, everybody. Good afternoon. I hope you guys are doing great. In this video, I'm going to talk to you all about nervous system regulation and my upcoming training that happens tomorrow that you all need to be at, because let's be real, a lot of the reason why we do not enjoy life, we are not living the life that we pray about, or the daydreams you've had about what your life could look like. The reason you're not seeing that come to pass is because you are stuck in what everyone is calling survival mode, but it's just really just nervous system dysregulation. So I know it's a lot of buzzwords that people use, but I just say self-care. But when we think about nervous system regulation in a whole, it is literally your alignment in your brain and in your body, okay? And so if you look at your central nervous system, which is your brain and your spinal cord, that all has to stay in alignment, right? Because it's the brain and your spinal cord that goes all the way through your body. So regulating your central nervous system and your your nervous system. So there's actual nerve endings. It's two different systems that we have. So we have a central nervous system, and then let me get the correct way to say this. That's in your body. A lot of people talk about we use these words and we don't really know what they mean. Let's see here. And you're probably going to hear my children in the background. So your central nervous system, and then your peripheral nervous system. Can you close my door for me? Aiden, can you close my door? Hello? Close my door, baby. Okay, so you have your central nervous system, which is your CNS, and then you have your peripheral nervous system, which is your PNS.
Mama, can you have popcorn?
No.
Huh?
No. Okay. So your CNS, it comprises of the brain and the spinal cord. Okay, and then it's responsible for processing information and coordinating responses throughout your body. And then your peripheral nervous system includes all nervous and neural structures outside of the CNS, which is your central nervous system. Divided into somatic, which controls voluntary movements, and autonomic, which controls involuntary functions. So what does that mean on the third grade level? One is your brain connection, right? And the other one is your body connection, right? They work together. And so I want to show you a picture of that, because I know for me, I am a visual learner. So here is your peripheral, and I'm probably saying that wrong, but it's fine. Okay, and so all of this is all your nerve endings that's in your body, and then you have your CNS, which is your brain and your spinal cord. So you might hear people saying like, I feel out of alignment. Well, when you think about alignment, you have to look at this. Your brain and your spinal cord, all of that is tied to your overall body, right? And so if your brain is out of whack from your spinal cord, so not literally, but they're firing off the wrong signals that's going to the body, this is why you're responding the way that you're responding. Okay? And so why I'm saying this to begin with is because when we think about nervous system regulation, when we hear the words like, I gotta regulate my nervous system, we sometimes only talk about what's showing up physically and not what's going on chemically in our minds. So a little backstory, I was diagnosed with 3 types of depression. This was back in 2016, I was diagnosed. And I looked at the medication that they were getting ready to give me, and I was pregnant with my second child at the time. Not pregnant, I was breastfeeding my second child. When they gave me the medication, he was just like, here's the medicine. Take this until you feel better. I literally came home from that meeting, from that counseling session, and I felt defeated. I didn't consider that I had just had my second child, that I had previously gone through a divorce. I had gone through a huge betrayal. I had recently relocated, so I had a lot of life altering things that were going on all at the same time. And I didn't consider, because I didn't have language, I didn't consider how this would throw my nervous system out of whack, because I didn't know what my nervous system was. Okay, so let's just start there. I didn't even know what it was. And if you come from the church like I do, baby, we ain't talking about nervous system. We ain't talking about self-care. It was bleed while you're leading. It was put others over yourself, which is not what the Bible says. Okay, so now, since I've started coaching since 2017, so my 10-year anniversary of coaching is going to start. It's going to be in 2027. I'm so excited about that, because by God's grace, I've been able to overcome the things that were literally designed by the enemy to take me out. So I went through all those life changes, and I was I entered into survival mode. Okay. And so survival mode is literally just your natural response to what's going on, the elements around you. That's all survival mode sums up to be. Survival mode in the nervous system sense refers to the state of heightened stress. Okay, it's a heightened stress response, often triggered by trauma or chronic stress. And so in this state, your body prioritizes you being safe over every other function. It leads to various physical and emotional symptoms. Okay, and so from a physiological response, the body enters a fight or flight mode. So that's something you might be familiar with. It releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. I don't know if you've ever seen somebody's face, like their bodies could be slim, but you look at their face and it's like swollen. It's puffy. Their eyes are puffy. They have bags under their eyes. Now, granted, y'all know I have a newborn. And by God's grace, I don't look like what the newborn trenches want me to look like. Okay? But that's because I am not in survival mode. And I have not been in survival mode for several years. Now, here's the thing about survival mode. You can come in and out of it. This is a beautiful thing about regulation, right? Something can happen and you can enter into survival mode. But when you live a regulated life, it's easier for you to step back into regulation. So the survival mode is for our protection. It's supposed to be there, but it becomes unhealthy when you live there. Okay? So too much stress, cortisol, adrenaline in your body leads to increased heart rates, heightened alertness, and physical changes. It starts to alter you physically. So some signs of survival mode is common indicators often is feeling constantly anxious, difficulty relaxing, fatigue despite adequate rest, and emotional numbness. So how you think you should respond to a situation, you typically don't. And so the impact on your health, and this is what I've been talking about for a while, the silent killer of stress is really sneaky. It is so sneaky to the point where if you do not recognize it before it's too late, it'll be too late. Okay, and so prolonged survival mode can impair your overall health, affecting your digestion, your immune function, your mental well-being. Okay, everything that's going on in here is going to show up in your body. So your body is speaking to you. It's saying, hey, we're sending off all these notifications to you. You're feeling anxious. That's a notification. You're feeling overwhelmed. That's a notification. It's because you are stressed You're under chronic stress, and it's causing your body to send mixed signals. Okay, and so the self-awareness piece to this is being in survival mode often diminishes your ability to be self-aware of how you are responding, how you are being triggered, and so on and so forth. Making it hard for you to recognize what your needs are and what your emotional state is. And so getting out of survival mode may seem like it'll never, am I really going to ever be able to get out of this? How do I even acknowledge that I'm in survival mode? And the baseline is this. If you are finding yourself constantly with racing thoughts, you're always beating yourself up, you are always looking and comparing yourself to other people, you are in survival mode. If you find yourself snapping on your spouse or your children, it's because you're in survival mode. And I'm not talking about having a normal frustrating moment or what have you. But I mean at every turn, you are snapping on your spouse. You are snapping on your children. You have entered survival mode and you need to come out of it. You need to get down to the bottom of what it is that is causing you to be in survival mode. Are your finances out of whack? But this is why it's so important to be self-aware, but also be God-aware. And sometimes our survival mode comes from us trying to be our own God instead of putting the responsibility in the hands of who it belongs to, and that's God. Okay? And so the world teaches grounding techniques, which a lot of that comes from biblical principles like He making me to lie down in green pastures. That's grounding. That's what the world calls grounding, right? But green pastures can literally be a nice, comfortable bed at a hotel for one night. That could be your green pastures. Your green pastures can be a bathtub. We're not limited to doing things just based off of, we'll go lay down in the grass. Well, I'm allergic to grass, so then does that mean I can't lie down in green pastures? Okay. So what the world calls practicing mindfulness, it is taking thoughts captive. It's the biblical way to do it. Okay, so I teach nervous system regulation from a biblical standpoint because, and to sum it up, it's self-care, right? Self-care, because you cannot be your best self if you are not well. You cannot show up in the roles that God has called you to if you are not doing well. Okay? And so, in reference to people that have a lot of titles, a lot of roles, a lot of responsibilities, if we are not careful, we will find ourselves like you see a lot of successful people. They have the money, they have the relationships, they have the lifestyle, they have all of the things externally. But internally, they are suffering. They are screaming. This is why it's so important not to compare your life to someone else's life, because you don't know what they're going through, right? So another way to remove yourself out of survival mode is breathing. You have no idea how many coaching calls I'll get on, and all I see from the person is this. I'm like, hey, can we stop right now? Because every time we talk about this particular thing, you're not breathing. Let's take a second. And they'll try to rush me like, no, we're not rushing past this. We're going to take a second and we're going to breathe. Because you can't even process what you're dealing with without breathing. Okay? And so you have to establish a sense of safety that can help you reset the nervous system. Okay? And then you have to get the tools on how to stay regulated. Because there's going to come times and opportunities for you to be dysregulated. And you have to know how to manage your nervous system. Manage your thoughts, like the Bible tells us. And so once you feel safe, this is how you know you've come out of survival mode. And so A therapist is cool, a counselor is cool, but you need to have tools to navigate and to recover from being in the state of survival mode. Because survival mode will also have you overweight. Survival mode will have you dressing like how you feel. Survival mode will allow people to come into your life and tell you how you should be moving. And so now, do you not only have your own issues, you have other people's issues being piled up on yours. They will fearmonger you. They will tell you, well, I don't think that's a good idea. You don't need a therapist. You just need this. You need it. Be very careful. Be very careful. And so when our nervous system is stuck in survival mode, you have to change the gear. Because that gets into your cells, that goes down into your blood. And now you're constantly filtering. Think about a water system. If the water system is backed up and gunk gets stuck in the water that is supposed to be filtering out, you're not going to have clean water. And eventually it's going to become an infection. It's going to become diseased water. Or let's say the water's not moving at all. And then the water becomes stagnant. The water is going to stink. And so a lot of people, maybe you, a lot of you are starting to smell around other people. You're giving off a scent. And the Bible talks a lot about us being a sweet aroma in the nose of the Father. And a lot of you are not a sweet aroma because you're either in disobedience because you're stuck in survival mode, or you're stress managing instead of stress relieving. You're finding yourself comparing your life, which is a thief of joy. Then you find yourself being disobedient to God as it relates to what He has called you to do. So you're out of alignment with your purpose and your power and your position. And so now this is causing you to be in a stupor or to be in a funk. They call it a funk for a reason, because it has a smell. That is going to open the door to the enemy. The spirit of depression. Then you have anxiety. Then you have the spirit of fear. And once all three of those, the trifecta comes in, the enemy is going to snatch your voice. And you're no longer going to speak up for yourself. You're no longer going to do the work or tell the enemy to stop playing with you. You're just going to sit there and take it. You're going to let people walk all over you. You're going to take on projects and jobs that God never meant for you to take on. And this is why you find yourself minding everybody else's business, because it's easier to go and try to rescue everyone else because you get a dopamine hit. And that dopamine hit feels good while you're in survival mode. And so when you get that dopamine hit from helping somebody else, but neglecting yourself, it lasts for a little bit and then you crash. And then you go on social media and then you're doom scrolling, or you're liking up people's content, or you're, looking at other people's relationship like, oh, they look so happy, and you're getting a dopamine hit so that you can keep going instead of allowing God to rescue you, because nobody can save any of us. Okay. So when you find yourself not always showing up for everybody else and not showing up for yourself, that's when survival mode becomes non-existent. Because you can't say that you really love yourself and you keep neglecting yourself. And then maybe you do love yourself, but you find yourself in survival mode when things aren't perfect, when things aren't going as planned. You start to worry. You start to have this internal fear. Like, what's going to happen if I'm not successful? And you've attached your success to your identity. So now your identity is affected. And now you're starting to pick up jobs because of survival mode. You're starting to take on clients that are going to stress you out because of survival mode. So this thing is not just for the wife or the mom that has so many. No, it's for professionals too. And professionals is really where my heart is, because I've seen so many people in corporate America, when I used to work in the bank, struggling. And it was coming out in their work. It's coming out in their work. So I just want to pop on. I'm probably going to get on here a little bit later. I know my baby is getting ready to likely wake up in a little bit. So I want to go ahead and get myself together for her. I got to go and do my motherly duties while I'm also doing my wifely duties, because I'm all of the things all at once, but not all at the same time. So I just want to pop on here and say, hey y'all, I'll be going back live more often. Let me tell you something. I said I was going live last week and I did not. My jaw started hurting. Literally, I had pain right here. I could barely really talk and articulate. I couldn't eat. And I was like, oh, okay, because I'm supposed to be doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So with that being said, if you guys have not signed up for my upcoming nervous system regulation training, it's happening tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm gonna, by God's grace, help you guys understand your nervous system and hopefully get out of survival mode. Not hopefully. You're gonna get out of survival mode once you get in this training. And then you're going to start to receive the stuff that you want to receive, because you cannot receive what is really meant for you if you are out of alignment, if you are stuck in survival mode, because it requires the things that you're asking God for requires you to, one, be operating in purpose. And it's hard to do that when you're stuck in survival mode. Two, you cannot be moving in fear. Faith is the currency of the kingdom. And number three, you have to have complete trust that God is who he says he is. But you can't see that, as you can't see God as safe because you can't see him. And it's hard for your nervous system, it's hard for your mind to even fathom that this quote unquote invisible God wants to give you the life that you actually desire to have. It's a reason why in the Bible he says he will give you the desires of your heart. But if the desires of your heart is fueled by your fear or fueled by survival mode, he's not going to give you that, because he's a good father. He's like, okay, once she gets into alignment, once she starts to do the healing work, the inner work, and her inner sanctuary is taken care of, her vineyard is taken care of, then she is going to be in a position to where I can actually give her what she is asking for. Because a lot of times we ask God for things from the wrong lens, and then we get upset with God when he doesn't give it to us, or when he gives it to us and then he takes it away, because we've either made it an idol, like, okay, when I get married, then I'll be happy. When I have another baby girl, then I'll be complete. And God is like, why am I not enough? When I have good friends, then I'll. No. It's not if. It's not a matter of if. It's a matter of when. A lot of us are prolonging our process because we will not surrender what we think we need in order to be happy, in order to receive what it is that God has called for us to have. So the training is happening tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm excited about it because I believe wholeheartedly the reason why we have to live a regulated life is because what is on the way. We cannot be moved, especially as people of God. When COVID came around, when C-19 came around, everybody, like the Bible says, men's heart will fail them for fear. Everybody was terrified. Everybody except me and a handful of the remnant. Okay? They were terrified. No one had that Esther mentality, the Esther mentality of, if I perish, I perish. I put my complete trust in God. Me and my husband had 2 people, male and female, come live with us during the height of COVID because they needed someone to take care of them, for one. They were in fear, for 2. And for 3, they didn't know how or if it was possible for them to get better. And so I, asked, I took it upon myself to allow that person to come stay in my household. And I didn't wear a mask. I said, Lord, if this is your will, you're going to take care of us. Now people are like, that's stupid. Well, listen, it's even stupider to believe that God can't protect you from a doggone disease that was man-made. That's a conversation for another day. If he can send people through a wall of water to get to the other side, surely he can keep me and my family in good health from a disease. So that's exactly what God did. And he did it twice, just to prove that he was faithful to me. And then he had to prove it to my husband. So he did it with someone that was close to my husband as well. So, and what we realized was that fear is the biggest disease. And fear comes from survival mode. Fear hides in dysregulation. And so if you have been feeling stuck, feeling overwhelmed, or feeling like, is this ever going to end? Am I ever going to get to the place where I am like happy all the time? I'm here to tell you there's no such thing as happy all the time. But there is a such thing as having joy all the time. Okay? And so I am a joyful person. Am I happy all the time? No. Because in certain moments, something could set me off and I'm just like, okay, well, what was that? Because that's information. Our emotions are information. So I'm not triggered like I used to be. I don't have a chip on my shoulder anymore. Yeah. Your girl is good and regulated. Okay? So everything that I'll be teaching in this, in the upcoming training tomorrow is what, not what I have studied or researched. It is what I know to be true. It is what I live every single day of my life. And I got 7 kids, y'all. 7 of them. 7 of them boys. 7 of them girls. And they all have different personalities. I still have a calling on my life. Before I was a wife and a mother, I was a person that had a purpose that God wanted me to pursue. And so just because I have these things does not mean, have these other titles does not mean I get to neglect my purpose. And so in order to fulfill purpose, still play your roles, still give your children a childhood that they don't have to recover from. Okay, right here. That they don't have to recover from. Well, just give me a minute. I'm almost done.
Okay.
Let's get her other bottle fixed up. She's probably ready to eat again.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, honey.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So this is lived experience. This is not me just talking out the side of my neck. Like, I really want to help women in particular. I want to help the men too. But I believe if us as women can get ourselves regulated, we can get ourselves out of survival mode. It will be a lot easier for us to see what's going on with the men, because we're called to be helpmeets. We are called to be helpmeets. It's easier for us to see what's going on with the men, see what's going on with our sons, and be able to pray, because that's our position. We are to be helpers to mankind, right? As women. So we have to be regulated. We have to be a solid foundation, because our children rely on us. Our husbands rely on us. And I know it can be like, well, who do I go to? Listen, this is what the Holy Spirit is for. This is also what the handmaidens are for in Proverbs 31. There were other women around her. This is what the Naomi Ruth relationships are about. This is what the Esther and Mordecai relationships were about. Someone else to lean on. Someone that is in your corner. So we are never meant to do life alone. But the enemy has done a great job of trying to divide women. Because he knows when we get on one accord, baby, we make hell nervous, okay? I'm coming to dysregulate hell's nervous system. Okay? I'm coming to dysregulate it. By all of us women rising to the occasion, all of us wives and mothers not putting off our spiritual responsibility on other people. I'm putting my spiritual responsibility back on myself, and I'm getting back into alignment with who God has called me to be. So ultimately, it's getting back to his design. He never designed us for survival mode. Yes, we can blame Eve, like, dang girl, we could have been around here bucket naked. But we're here now. So it's up to us to make a decision on how we will live our lives from here on out. Okay? So y'all be encouraged. And like I said, my employer is calling me. So I have to go and attend to her. But y'all be blessed. Sign up for my nervous system regulation training. Share it with somebody. The training is completely complimentary, but you have to register. Go look at the link in my bio so that you can do that, because it's time for us to enjoy life, right? Like, enjoy life. All right. I love you all with the love of the Lord, and by God's grace, I'll be back on here later or whenever, and I'll talk to you guys here soon. Oh, I have an update. The Pour is coming to Jacksonville Beach. It's going to be the dates. We have new dates. Well, we have the dates that it's supposed to be from the beginning. Hey, honey. You okay? I love you too. So the dates for the Pour, not the dates it was supposed to be from the beginning. Okay. I don't know why I said that. So the dates for the Pour is October 3rd. Is October 3rd. I know we talked about Labor Day weekend. However, I know a lot of people are still going to be in like school mode, getting their kids ready for school and all of the things. So we pushed it back to October 3rd to allow for more time for all of you ladies to not make an excuse as to why you're not showing up for yourself. We're going to talk all things nervous systems and relationships. So I'm super excited about that. There is no virtual option. Hey girl, hey. There's no virtual option, but you need an excuse to come out of town anyway. So if you're not here in Jacksonville, the hotel that we are having that's going to be in proximity, they are going to provide us some rooms that we can have for that weekend. So I know I'm getting me a room for that weekend because I practice what I preach. And I want you all to do the same thing. Yes. Listen, the kids have a summer break and spring break. All that stuff is a break for them, but it is not a break for us as mamas. Okay? Then you have all of my corporate girlies. Listen, I know that they've been running y'all. And it's time for y'all to take some time off. What does PTO stand for, everybody? What does PTO stand for? Prepare the others. So mamas, wifeys, y'all need to take y'all some PTO and prepare the others. Okay? Yes. I think it is such a season, like a lot of women are locking in right now and they're like focusing on being their best self. And I love that for us. Okay? So send them kids to their daddy, their aunties, their cousin. Like, get your arrangements now. I don't want to hear no excuses. Y'all have plenty of time. And even if we did it in September too, you would still have time because we have time and money for what we want. Now, the question is, what do you really want? Do you want a regulated nervous system? Do you want your thyroid to go down and heal naturally? Because I don't know if I told you the testimony, but my thyroid was really swollen. But a lot of that was due to stress and eating bad because I'm eating because I'm stressed. And so now it's going down. My face, well, obviously I just had a baby, but before I had cortisol face. Face was puffy. I was dealing with all the things that I've never dealt with. And especially if you in the over 35 crew, what they telling us that we getting now? Perimenopause. Girl, I don't have time for that. I am too young. Yeah, she said her memory has been bad. Yeah. Baby, let me tell you something. I was cutting a piece of butter one night and I was about to put it in my cup of orange juice instead of putting it in my bowl of oatmeal. What you think that means? I was like, ooh wee, I need to go sit down. I need to go sit down somewhere. That means I'm tired. I was like, oh, no, girl, go sit down. You don't need nothing to eat. You need to go to sleep. You need to go take a nap. And baby, I took a fantastic nap, and I slept, and I slept. And guess what? It was stuff all over the house when I woke up. But guess who was well? Guess who wasn't screaming? Guess who was able to get up and say, all right, y'all, let's clean up. Because now I'm at peace. Why these kids get to take a nap and we don't? Who said we couldn't take a nap? Who told us that napping was just for children? Who told adults that we didn't need naps? When I used to go to work, that's how serious I am about this whole self-care thing. So it's not just about nervous system regulation. Nervous system regulation is a portion of self-care. Self-care is biblical. Okay, girl, yes. Go kayaking. Listen, that might be a little excursion we need to add for the people that's going to stay overnight. You know, I might add something up. But a time is going to be had. But what I realized is self-care is biblical. It's in Matthew 27, I believe. It talks about loving your neighbor as you love yourself. It's impossible to love other people the way you think you loving them if you don't love yourself. And in that scripture, love is translated to care. Ain't God intentional? It literally translates to charity. And we know charity means giving to an organization. Why that organization can't be you? Why is it okay for you to give to everybody else, for you to consider everybody else? Why is it okay for you to volunteer, but nobody's volunteering for you? That's outside of God's design. Think about it. If we all care and love ourselves, if we all care for each other, because I told him he could. Y'all have candy y'all can have, okay? Yes. Well, this night, yeah. After you eat your lunch, okay? All right, close my door.
Wait, what type of candy?
I don't know. Close my door. So, oh, well, then you ate it all. It's not my problem. Why is it so much so that we feel like it's okay for us to be put on the back burner? Don't y'all know?
Why does she stop when she's drinking the milk?
Because she needs to burp. Yeah, she know how to. That's how she communicates. I'm gonna show y'all a visual real quick. Why are you bringing it in?
Oh.
Okay, thank you. I had to hire a babysitter, aka my daughter. And yes, I can pay her. So I'm gonna show you guys a visual real quick. And don't make fun of my drawing, alright? And you're gonna know what it is. You should know what it is instantly. Alright. You ready? Okay. So this is you. And some of y'all, this is you. No. It's pretzels up there. Hey guys, I'm on live. So, okay, thank you, Ace. Yeah, no more putting you on the back. Some of y'all not even on the burner. Some of you guys are at least on the back burner. And then you on the smallest one. Right? And then you have your job, your children. You got your health on the back burner. But what if I told you you could put you on this burner and put your job on this burner? What if I told you that all the burners can be on at the same time? What if I told you you could do that and still accomplish things? And so for the people that cook, you know exactly what I mean. You got something in the oven. You got something on the back burner where it's the vegetables and it's cooking on low. Or maybe you put that on earlier. And then you putting your mac and cheese on last. But here's the thing. It's still cooking all at the same time. Because you don't want to eat. You know how at Thanksgiving they be like, oh, we just waiting on the mac. Why we ain't cook the mac together? There's space. There's racks. There's capacity. Here's the other part. A lot of times we separate these containers, right? But this should be up here with you, because you take you everywhere. This, your husband, your children, right? They should be burning at the same time. Then you have business. You have purpose. Well, no, not even that. Purpose is up here with you too. Because it's in you. All of this is in you. All of this is with you. It ain't in you. Your children ain't in you. It's with you. So it has to stay in proximity. But all this other stuff, so friends, and it's not that you're not prioritizing them. It's just you're on a smaller burner. You're on the back burner. Because yes, this is all proximity to you, right? However, it does not mean that they can't all cook at the same time. My God, that was good. It's a reason why there's 4 burners. It's a reason why we have so many facets of ourselves. Okay? When your children grow up, they're going to leave you. Mine already doing it. He only 12. He makes sure he go to his youth group night every week faithfully. Because he has to build his own burners. He has to build his own kitchen. He has to build his own house. Then the beautiful thing about God is when you think, oh, well, there's not enough space on here on my burners. Guess what he gonna give you? Okay, yeah, don't talk about mine. What's this? Put it in the comments. What y'all think this is? This a little plug, y'all. Okay. What's this? It's a slow cooker or a crock pot, right? So now it's still proximity, right, to you, but now it's creating more capacity. So this could be hiring somebody to come do your laundry. It gives you more capacity to still cook all at the same time. So now nothing is falling to the ground. Then he done messed around and gave us this. Let's see if y'all know what this is. What's that? A microwave. Now we can do things a little bit faster. And that's with the hiring, outsourcing, getting some help, stop trying to do everything by yourself. And now you're able to pour all that meal makes onto a plate. And you're able to reap the benefit or eat the fruit thereof. And nothing goes lacking. But here's the beautiful thing. Here's the other part to this. We cannot say, Lord, I want to do more with my life, and you don't even have all the proper tools to manage more. You don't have to do more. You just need to be more. You need to be more of who God has called you to be. More prayerful, more powerful, more impactful in your proper containers. So some of you that are not even on the burners, some of y'all are just on the kitchen counter. You're not even on the stove. It's time to get back on the stove. It's time to get cooking with your purpose, with your health. You know, when a woman upset, she'll change her life. And the reason why your life is still the way that it is because you're not mad enough that things are going the way that it's going, because it's not that bad yet. It hadn't gotten that bad yet, and your level of tolerance has gone up. Because you feel like, well, you know, it could always be worse. That's true indeed. That should give you all the more fuel to want to do better, because it's not worse, and we don't want to wait until worse becomes worse. Okay? Our health is the biggest thing that we have the most control over. That includes our mental health, our emotional health, our spiritual health, and our physical health. It's time to stop suffering. It's time to stop suffering. Let me show you all when I got mad the first time. When I got angry and I was like, I've had enough. Let me find a picture. And it only took me 4 months to get my physical self together because I was determined. I'm sure all y'all have a picture of a time where you were snatched, honey. And then right after that, either you had a baby or you had a situation that caused you to a betrayal, something that capsized you lost your job, or whatever it was. You had something that happened in your life that derailed you. And because you didn't understand self-care and nervous system regulation, you let it keep you derailed. Okay? I'll just show you the where I said I was tired. I was like, Lord, I'm tired. For one, I don't want to be overweight. I don't want to I want a better life for myself and for my children, because for one, they didn't ask to be here. And so the least that I can do is provide to them a better life, a better version of the best version of myself. Baby, I got up. I started fasting and praying. It was 4 months straight. Fasting and praying. And when I say I had dropped so much weight that my family and friends thought I was doing drugs. They was like, oh, actually doing drugs. And I wasn't. I was in my loft of my apartment exercising 2 to 3 times, 2 times a day. It was like 10 minutes each. I wasn't doing a lot of like strenuous. I literally, just because I was doing 2 a days and I was eating good, I was able to lose a significant amount of weight because I was dedicated. So let's see. Oh, there's the cat. I was dedicated. This was after my second child. Okay. I'm still working on that belly child. You know, that stomach for us is the hardest to go. You know why it's the hardest to go? Because we carry so much of our stress and so much of our problems in our stomachs, in our wounds. Our gut is our second brain. And so a lot of the reasons why we struggle as wives or as women, just in general, to lose our belly fat is because that visceral fat is holding on to memory. So if you're not losing your belly fat, it's because there is a memory lodged in your stomach, in that visceral fat. Visceral fat is literally a response to what you felt in your nervous system, because it's like, okay, we need to protect. So you start to put on weight. Okay. Victoria says she's been considering her health now. Yeah, vitamins, supplements, taking things that help your digestion, so making you be regular. So some of y'all need to take some Colace, okay, to loosen you up. Like, your girl was a thin mint. You hear me? A thin mint, and I loved every moment of it. Clothes was fitting better than it was in high school. I was at my almost at my goal weight, and then because I started to come outside of God's design, and I made an idol of my weight loss. I started to do things and move in a way that was not synonymous with the things of God, and I found myself in adultery. because I'm feeling good. I'm feeling snatched. My husband ain't appreciating it. And not to mention that he was probably in survival mode because we concerned about our finances and all of the things. Not knowing that we were under spiritual attack as to why we were going through so much hardship in my marriage to begin with. It was an attack from the enemy. So he was like, I'm going to get Ashley to focus on herself. I'm going to get her to solely focus on herself for the benefit of herself, not for the benefit of her husband or her children, but for the benefit of herself. But I'm going to make it an idol because there's nothing wrong with taking care of you. I made losing weight an idol. I made looking good and feeling good, being snatched after having a couple children. I made it an idol. And so once I made it an idol, immediately, shortly after, I was humbled. God humbled me. And I said I would never do that again. And so instead of me losing the weight with God, I just gained all the weight back. The weight came right back. Start spending. So maybe it's not weight for you. Maybe you have a spending problem. And you keep saying, I want to do this, I want to do that. But you're telling yourself you don't have the money. But if you go back and you look at your Amazon cart, you got the money. If you go back and look at your accounts, a lot of you guys' dysregulation is attached to the thing that you won't let go of. You got to get that dopamine hit. Like I was saying earlier in the live, a lot of us are trying to rescue other people. That's where your dysregulation is coming from. Because it's easier to rescue somebody else than it is to try to rescue yourself. Because Jesus he's a life vest. But you still got to put it on. You still got to hold on to the buoy. And Jesus be like, help me help you. Because when Peter started to sink, he had to come back up from his faith by grabbing the hand of Jesus. You see, a lot of times we look at all these contributing factors and external factors as excuses and reasons as to why we're doing what we're doing. But the truth is, they contribute to why we're doing what we're doing. But the reality is, it's us. It's more comfortable to stay in self-doubt. It's easier to put yourself on the back burner. It's easier to say, well, I got the kids and, they need this, they need that. Baby, them kids going to need clothes and shoes and shirts and pants and sports gear until Jesus comes. They going to need it. What about you? What do you need? Because I guarantee you, I would have loved to see my mother walk in total purpose and love on herself and be the brilliant woman that she is. I would have loved to see that growing up, because that would have inspired me to do the same thing. It would have inspired me not to allow people to mistreat me. And maybe you don't have kids. Someone's watching your life. Whether they tell you or not, someone's watching your life. And so if you don't do nothing else or get nothing else from this live, it's more than just self-care. It is literally for the benefit of those around you. It's good spiritual hygiene. It's good hygiene, because some of y'all need to practice better hygiene. And I'm not just talking about your armpits. I'm talking about your attitude. Don't nobody want to be around somebody that's always upset. Is always anxious. I gotta walk on eggshells. I don't want to do that. You trying to figure out why your children trying to run out the house every opportunity they get. It's because, oh snap, mommy's up. It's gonna be a war. The home is supposed to be a retreat center. It should be where the children feel the safest. Yeah, they're gonna break things. They're gonna knock things over. That's what children do. Okay, that's what husbands do. They don't put their clothes in the basket that you set right by the thing. They put their clothes on the side of the basket. But instead of just serving, you get frustrated. You start to complain. So now that complaining is affecting you. You didn't see that was a foothold for the enemy. You didn't see that was a trap for the enemy to come in and cause you to get into complaining or cause you to be angry or bitter. They always leave this stuff for. Now you're speaking word curses. Now you're creating an environment in your house where you're going to continue to be the one picking up after everybody. Instead of saying, hey, y'all, can y'all pick up y'all stuff? Because you are supposed to be the keeper at home. Say, delegate. Tell them people what to do. Guarantee you they'll do it. I just had my first meeting with my whole family. So my father-in-law, my husband, and my children. Well, my older children. And they took that meeting so serious. Baby, I had a presentation. You see this? She's not playing. Like we're gonna get some order. Because one thing I know is the woman sets the tempo in the home. The husband can set the tone. But that woman, that wife, that mama, she's setting the tempo of the home. So if your home is out of whack, it's because you out of whack. It's because you dysregulated. It's like, dang, all this responsibility on me. God gave it to you. It's a blessing. You are a gift. You're a blessing. And you need to start seeing yourself as that. You're overwhelmed because you're trying to play God and your husband. You're trying to be everybody but who God calls you to be. That's why you feel overwhelmed. You better hire somebody. Okay? Proverbs 31 woman, she had help. She was fulfilling purpose. She was buying real estate. She had her own money. All right? You overwhelmed because you're trying to be everybody but who God calls you to be. So happy Monday, y'all. Join my upcoming training, Regulate to Receive, so that you can receive the life that you actually want to live. Just as much as God loves us as his daughters, he loves his sons too. Yeah, we got outsource else. And if we feel like we won't have the money, we need to ask God. Like, okay, Lord, how do I make more money to take care of this? Somebody come deep clean my house once a month or once a week. How do I pay for this? You can't outsource being a parent. You can outsource your house being clean or your laundry being done or the grass being cut. Like, you can outsource those things and buy back your time. And so join the upcoming training. It starts tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm super excited about it. And then the pour is happening October 3rd. Jacksonville Beach. This time I might actually release the location before you register. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how things go. Wow, you just launched your doula business? What? I'm so excited. Oh, girl, we got to talk. I have so many people that need your help. I'm more of a postpartum doula, so I like to help and take care of the mamas and the dads at home when they bring the newborn home. So maybe we can collaborate, and I can send my people to you for the process leading up to the birthing. But I love it, and I'm excited to have you. If you guys are close to Jacksonville, there's no excuse. You need to be there, even if you're not close. Make the investment in yourself. Make the investment in yourself. If you're in business and you want people to buy your products or services and you have not invested at the level that you want people to invest in your products and services, I'm here to tell you it's going to be very tough to try to offer a service that you have not first been willing to pay to invest in yourself. Okay? You are worth every red cent. And don't let nobody else tell you different. All right. I love you guys. Check out the links in my bio for the upcoming events and trainings. And I'll be back on here later to chat with y'all. I love y'all. Y'all have a happy week. Bye. Oh, share this with somebody else too. All right. Bye.